Hi, second and third graders. I am out today and Miss Morley is in, and you are going to be working on making some Calavera sugar skull designs. And for this project, you are going to be working with Sharpie. So that means that if you make a mistake, you either have to make it work in your design or you have to live with it. It's gonna be up to you to decide. Now, when you are working on these, I want you to really pay attention to where you are putting each detail on your paper. Look at the examples that I made. When I am going through the steps in the video, you're gonna notice that I do the step once so that you can watch it, and then I'll give you a chance. I'll say it's your turn, and that's when you should be doing your drawing, and I'll repeat it in the video as well. Now, when you get done with working on drawing those, you are going to be coloring them with these crayons. So when you are done, make sure that you color. Now, one of the parts of this project that's really cool is that you'll get to decorate your skull a little bit differently from everyone else in your class. So in the video, I will show you some different ideas of ways that you can decorate it, and I want you to use your creativity to make yours a little bit different than everybody else's. I hope that you have a blast with Miss Morley. Be super great listeners, I know that you will, and I can't wait to see your skulls when I get back. Thanks. Let's make a Calavera sugar skull together. The first thing we will need to do is draw the skull with our Sharpies. We will do this step by step together. Begin by drawing 2 circles to be the eyes. You will want these circles to be about the size of a quarter. Now you try, it's your turn. Again, draw your circles, 2 big ones the size of a quarter. Next, we're going to turn our paper upside down and draw a heart. This heart will become the nose of our skull. Now it's your turn. Turn your paper upside down and add the heart for the nose. When you're finished, flip your paper back around so that you're ready to keep on drawing. Next, we will add the cheek line. Draw a straight line next to your eye, a little bump out, and come back in underneath your eye about halfway. Watch this step before you do it. Now it's your turn. Add your cheek lines. Again, the lines start straight next to your eye, bump out a little for the cheekbone, and come back in about halfway under the eye. Next, we will add a big rainbow line to form the top of the head. Start on the outside of your cheek line, go all the way up and around, and back down on the other side. Now it's your turn. Add your big rainbow line going up and around from one side to the other to make the top of your head. Next, we will go to where our cheekbone line ended and make a line that comes straight down and curves just a little at the bottom. Now it's your turn. Add your lines. Next, we will start up by our cheek line once again, but this time we'll come down even further to create the bottom part of the jaw. This is where your chin would be. Now it's your turn. Use that U-shaped line to connect one cheekbone down and around to the other side to make your bottom jaw. Next, we will make one more line going down from our cheekbone and connecting to the first shorter line that we made. Now it's your turn. Add your short line coming down from your cheekbone and connecting to your shorter line. Next, we will add a small smile line to connect those 2 parts of our face. Now it's your turn. Add your smile line. Next, we will add a straight line right underneath our nose. Now it's your turn. Add your line underneath your nose across your smile line. Now we'll add 2 more lines on each side of that tall line, each one getting a little bit shorter than its neighbor. Now it's your turn. Add 2 smaller lines on either side of your long line. Now we will use rainbow lines to connect the tops of these little lines. This will give our teeth a nice look. Connect all of the tops of your teeth with those rainbow lines. Then do the bottom ones. Now it's your turn. Connect all of the tops of those little lines with a rainbow line. Connect the bottoms of your short lines with a smile line. Next, we will fill in the long, skinny lines that are on either side of the jaw. This will show that the top part of the skull is separate from the bottom part. We will also shade in the nose. Make sure you keep your lines close together and color very carefully. Now it's your turn. Shade in the two spaces on either side of the jaw, then fill in your nose. Next comes one of my favorite parts of this project, adding decorations to your skull to take it from a regular skull to a calavera. Let's talk about a few different ways that you can decorate your calavera. Let's start with a flower. Draw a circle, then add a tall, skinny rainbow line to make a petal on top, and do the same thing across the flower on the bottom. Do the same on the left and then the right. You should notice that everything I'm doing, I start on one side and then I go to the opposite. That is a good way to make a balanced flower. This is just one of many ways that you could make a flower to use to decorate your skull. I could even add a leaf with little veins. Now let's try a different kind of flower. I will again start with a circle, but this time I will make a letter V on top and connect it with a curved line. This will give my petals a more pointed look. I'll do the same thing on the bottom, and just like before, I'll work on one side, then go to the opposite side as I complete the flower. I make each V and connect it back with a curved line. My flower is not perfect, but I tried my best, and you should too. If you want, you can even add more petals to fill in the flower even more. Lastly, let's give a rose a try. For this one, we will start with a bigger circle. As we fill in the middle, we'll start on one side and make a line that goes across. Then we'll go back inside of that line and make another line coming across. We will continue to do this as we repeat those lines all the way to the center of the rose. If you want, you can even add a curved line with a little point on the outside to make it look like there are a few leaves or looser petals. Now let's look at other ways that you could decorate. One common way is to use two lines that are curved the same direction and fill them in with a pattern. In this case, I'll use circles. By keeping my circles empty in the middle, I can color them in differently later. Hearts are another common element of a calavera skull, and you can make them even more interesting by adding a border around the outside. Sometimes I also like to add a series of dots, one big, the next smaller, and the next even smaller. I think this makes the design more interesting. You could even add a swirl line somewhere on your picture. To do this, draw one swirl, then go back to the beginning and connect back one more time. You can even trace around the tiny curly-Q part of the swirl. If you want, you could even add some dots to that or fill it in with a pattern. Now that we have some ideas for decorating, let's get back to decorating our skull. As you work, remember that you have white space around the outside of your skull. This is a good place to practice because later on we will be cutting the skull out. If you want to try and practice something before you draw it on your skull, use your white space to give it a try. Friends, when you get to the decorating step, Miss Morley can give you each a copy of this sheet of paper. This sheet of paper has some different examples of some different kinds of skulls. They have all different kinds of different decorations on them and some fun little details that you could think about. I don't want you to exactly copy any of the ones that you're seeing on the paper. I want you to take ideas and inspiration and make them your own. One place where you could begin designing is at the top of your skull. There are many ways that you can design. Oftentimes, you will see calaveras with a flower right at the top of the head, so I'm going to add that on mine. But you don't have to. Everyone's should be a little bit different from each other's. You can even add designs in the eyes and then fill in the outside with some black to make it really look like a skull. Next is time for coloring. Calaveras are known for their bright colors, so we are going to use crayons and use a lot of pressure to get some really nice bright colors.